So, in this short series I will show you how I create simple scene in Blender 3D. My process involves a lot of moving back and forth, so nothing you'll see here in this part will be final. I hope you enjoy it. So, without further ado, let's start our scene. First, we're gonna hide our camera by pressing H. We're gonna delete our light by pressing X. Okay, so we want our scene to include a character, Diglett. So what the Diglett is, it's basically an elongated capsule, so the top half of the sphere stretched down, and the best sphere is always a cube, so we select the cube. We go to the range, add modifier, and we use subdivision surface. We can crank it up to 3, and then we need to cast it. Use another modifier, and we need to cast it to the sphere with a factor of 1. So we achieved perfect sphere with pretty much solid geometry. Then we apply it and apply it. Now we have to go to the orthographic view by pressing 1 or 3 on the numpad. Okay, 1 or 3. We have to enable this mirror view. Press Tab to go to the edit mode. Select the bottom half, X to delete vertices, and then we need to select the bottom row. If we work in the mirror view, we're selecting all of the whole bottom, and then we need to press E to extrude, Z to snap it to the Z axis, and we extrude down, maybe indefinitely. Who knows how the Digletts look like. So that's our main body. One thing we could do is to add some geometry here for the better shading. So Ctrl R, then we move up with our mouse wheel to put some geometry in here, and we release it by clicking and then escape to center it. Tab, and we got our Diglett body. Right click, shade smooth, and then Tab for the edit mode, A to select all, G to move, Z to move in the Z axis, G, we can extrude it, something like that. Okay, we're exiting edit mode. Now we can leave X review. We need to place an additional surface in here that will be our ground. So Shift A, add plane, and that's 2 by 2 meters plane, so our Diglett is really huge. We're gonna enlarge the plane, something like that. We press this arrow, we got information about our plane in here, so it's 6 by 6 meters and the scale is wrong, so we need to go to the object, apply rotation and scale. Okay, and we have to do the same thing with Diglett. So we press S, scale it down until it will have like 30 centimeters in diameter, and then object, apply rotation scale. It's time to unhide our camera. Select it, go to, for example, this view, and then press Ctrl Alt 0 to snap the camera to our view. Now we can press G and move the camera just like we're moving any other object. We can place it like right here, then press G, middle mouse button or the wheel button. You can zoom it in, correct it. Okay, it's pretty much what we want for the entire scene to look like. We will move our plane back so we could then manipulate a little bit with our camera position, and still we won't see the blank space that's behind the plane. So we need to move it with G, press Shift Z to exclude the Z-axis, and we push it further. Okay, something like that, and maybe scale it a little bit. So S, and scale it up. Also object, apply rotation and scale, and that's really important because we will then later use this geometry to scatter the grass around. By pressing wheel button we can exit this view. That camera will bother us, so we hide it by pressing H. And now we have to work on the basic Diglett features. So we will have everything added to our scene. So we select the Diglett, then go to the orthographic view by pressing 3, for example. Now we have to place his nose in here. Shift A, mesh, and for example icosphere. Need to scale it down, and then scale it again, but we press Z, so we will scale it only on the Z-axis. For example, I feel like we need another subdivision here, and we can instantly apply it. We will click to shaded smooth, and so we have his nose. Again 3. We will select the place where the eye will be. Shift A, add a mesh under icosphere. Again we're scaling it down, putting it in place, then we're scaling it and I will once again add subdivision, apply it, and shade it smooth, and add one more modifier. So I will use mirror object, and I will use the body to be the object. Okay, I think he looks fine. Maybe the eyes are a little bit too bulgy, so again scale, now X, I will scale it down to the almond shape, and maybe move a little bit down by pressing G and Z. We're gonna do the same with the nose, and scale nose a little bit on the X-axis and move it a little bit out of the body, so like that. So it's basically ready. Now we will put a little bit of attention to our ground plane, and basically we have to add a geometry to it. So we press Tab, go to the edit mode, right click it, click subdivide, expand this menu, do it like 10 times, maybe 20 or 30. That would be, I think, enough for now. So we apply it. And now we will use two modifiers to add noise to it. First, the big noise, and second, the smaller noise. So it would start to look like natural ground. So first, displace. Then we will use the texture to displace it. So we're creating new texture. And we have to exit the edit view by pressing tab to see it. So the plane moved down because texture is just a black file for now. We go to the texture properties and we put clouds in here. So we need to increase the size so our noise will be much more lighter. A little bit more depth to it. You have to shade it smooth. It looks like that. For me it's still not enough geometry, so let's go to the range icon, add another modifier, another subdivision surface. We have to move it up a little bit. Okay, that's much better. Much better. But still, we need to go to the texture properties and still move the size up, depth down. We will leave it like that, add another modifier, another displacement, and it looks bizarre because it's using the same texture again, or the texture and then moving up. So we have to create new texture and its clouds. We will already turn it way down. Go to the texture properties, and that's the texture. We need to use texture 001, so we're changing it. To the original clouds. Turn the size much down. Depth a little bit up. And the strength of this displacement down. Okay, again that's texture changed. So we need to put this texture in here and that one in there, and we turn it up a little bit, and I think it looks fairly ground-like, earth-like. It's gonna look perfect after we scatter around some plants in here. So we can go back to the camera view by pressing 0 on the numpad, selecting camera, pressing G, moving a little bit. To allow us to move the Diglett with all its features around, we will connect them to the Diglett. So we're pressing Shift and we're selecting those features on his face, his main body. We press Ctrl P and then object keep transform, and then we can move our Diglett around and everything stays in. Now what we'll need here is another level of subdivision, I think. So A to select it all, subdivide. Yes, that's fine. Our effect got a little bit stronger. So I hope one last tweak. And then we go to the edit view. We need to call the Diglett. Click this collection, create new, move the Diglett in there, and for now hide it. And of course all his features also will move to this collection, and then we will hide it. So where he was, here. We select those 4 vertices, we press X to delete them. We select those vertices, press Shift Alt S to create a sphere out of this. We appear our Diglett, we scale it down and move it by pressing G. Okay, we scale it up a little bit and a little bit, and then press E to extrude. Move it up, scale it down, then E and scale it down, and then E and move it down by pressing Z. Snap it. And I think we need a little bit more in here. So to select all of those vertices in here, we'll box select it by pressing Shift, going around it. Then we'll scale it up like that and move it a little bit up. G, Z, and up. Okay. So we get out of the little mound. But now we got this problem that our displacement is too strong. And it looks weird in here. So we need to select all this loop by pressing Alt and selecting it. And then we need to scale it up. Maybe something like selecting all of that, pressing vertex, smooth vertices, scale a little bit, maybe that will help. No, again, the effect is too strong. Okay, that looks much better. We will just extrude the Diglett out a little bit more. So I was just looking back on the Diglett reference, how he really looks like, and I need to change just a few more things. So that's it for this part. In the next one we will model our grass, our rocks, we will scatter it around using Geonodes, and finally we will set up basic materials and lighting for the scene. I also highly encourage you to check out one of my short animations using the link you see